Alright, after many discussions, I think we've finally come to a design that we're happy with. It took us a few days to get here, but I think we're going to settle with this. So as you walk in, there's like a little angled door here for our shower. We wanted to keep the hallway as wide as possible, so it felt quite open as you're walking in. So this is me stepping into the shower. And then this right here is a little nook, and it'll have a hatch door so we can have a slide out toilet. And then on top of that nook, we're going to have a basin and a mirror and, yeah, hopefully some storage for our toiletries. And then as you come behind here, behind the passenger door, that'll be my cupboard, or our cupboard for clothes. And this right here is a fridge. We'll have our fridge here. And then along here is our kitchen bench, and we're going to have a gas stove with a gas oven because I love cooking. And then yeah, it'll have all the luxuries hopefully, and a sink. And then back here is our bed. We're going to put a little wall here to block it off, and then up here we're going to have overhead storage for books and a few other little things. And then over here will be our dining table kind of set up with, it'll pop down into a lounge as well. So that'll be good for when people come visit us as well. We'll have a spare bed. And then some more storage here as well. But yeah, we did play around with the idea of having kind of like a U-shaped lounge, but wasn't going to quite work with our shower setup, so this has kept it pretty simple, but yeah.
Yeah, so on the last episode we got all this wool off of just our hands. We did the best we could, but thanks to Alex, who commented on our video, gave us a bit of a tip and told us to use a caramel wheel, and we've been using it this morning and it's made such a difference. It's almost getting all the wool all the way back to the glue, so yeah, that's so good. Cheers, Alex. Krystina's going to make a start on the roof with the caramel wheel. Then I'm going to be ripping apart this front cab because we're going to completely sound deaden it and soundproof the whole thing. So I'm going to start ripping up the vinyl, taking the chairs out, and then yeah. So after removing that bitumen based mat, we did end up scratching up the paint a little bit on the floor with the hammer and chisel, but yeah, we just got some metal paint. We're just going over it again anyway, just to make sure there's no bare metal, and then we'll lay the sound deadening shroud on top of it. We just had our package from Car Builders arrive. Sound deadening, insulation, all that jazz. Got a fair bit of product here for a big bus. Alright guys, so we're up to the sound deadening and insulation part of this build. We've opted to go with Car Builders. This whole setup here, I like to call it the hamburger with the lot. We're just not taking any shortcuts. We're going to do it all right from the start because you only get one chance, and that's at the start of the build. So yeah, so basically we have the sound deadener, we have the van liner, we have the Havelock Wool, and we have the van seal. That's basically a 4-stage process right there, and then we also have some mass noise liner which we'll be putting in the front cab to help with sound. But we'll start over here with the sound deadener. This is basically like a vibration dampening mat. You put on all the metal panels, all metal surfaces in the bus, and it basically stops the vibrations and the rattling like that. So basically, when you drive this at the moment, just think of putting a tin shed on wheels, and that's exactly what it sounds like. So this is basically going to make our whole experience in the cab a lot more quieter, a lot more comfortable. So the second stage of the process is the van liner. So this is basically just a thermal acoustic barrier. It mainly prevents heat from entering the vehicle. This basically gets applied straight over the sound deadener within the panels. So the third stage of the process is the Havelock Wool. So Car Builders are the main distributor in Australia of Havelock Wool. We're pretty happy to go with these guys because they're actually the most sustainable in the industry of producing wool, and there's no other insulation product that's anywhere near the same percentage of wool content. These guys are 100% wool. Yeah, so that's applied after the van liner, and it's like wool's ideal for any vehicles that are being slept in because it basically acts as like a natural form of air filtration. So after this, the final barrier is the van seal. This basically creates an inner cocoon. It stops any radiant heat entering, and yeah, it's that final barrier. So it kind of seals the deal, and yeah, and that's the 4 stages of insulating the walls and the roof. So in addition to all of that, we actually have some mass noise liner as well. This is purely for the front cab for the bus. So basically we're going to apply the sound deadener on the floor, the walls, and the door and everything like that. But that acts, like I said before, as like a vibration dampening material, where the mass noise liner here we're going to put all over the floor in the front, and it basically stops any airborne noise like engine noise and road noise from getting into the cab. It quiets it down a lot. So that's going to make everything a lot better in the front when we're driving.
So we're just cleaning down all the roof and all the panels with wax and grease remover so everything sticks a bit better.
So I've just made up a few templates out of cardboard, so these can fit between the panels really nicely, like that. And then it works out really well because here's a sheet of Sound Deadener. That's the middle template and then the top template, and that makes up a full sheet itself. And then there's the bottom template too, which is the same. So that's going to work out really, really well for these walls. Krystina's gone ahead and cut these to size for me. Yeah, so when you're applying these, you need to peel the back off, but you got to do your best to not actually touch the adhesive side of it. Like that. It does get a bit tricky when you want to go behind these pillars, but this stuff's pretty forgiving, so it's not too bad. So the install kit includes an application roller. Yeah, so when you first install the mats, they look like this, and the goal is to roll these bubbles out and flatten them to make it look like this. You mainly just want to get the flat metal surfaces. There's no point of sound deadening these ribbed bits of metal. You won't get much more gain from that. It's just basically these flat surfaces that will rattle a lot when you're driving. To the second stage of the front cab. We've laid the sound deadener here. Now we're just cutting the mass noise liner to the shape, and that's just going to sit right in here. So we've just got some high temp adhesive spray. So that's a wrap for stage 1 sound deadening. We ordered 9 boxes and used about 8.5. So if you're going to cover a coaster head to toe, 9 boxes is absolutely perfect. So I'll show you the main difference with sound deadening. The 80 here doesn't have any in it, and it sounds like this. And then the bust. So it's more of a thump, and it's not going to rattle when we're driving. So we just finished the stage 2 van liner on the roof. We're just going to do the sidewalls now. We'll show you guys how that's done, and yeah, then we'll move on to stage 3. Yeah, so we've just put in our first bit of van liner on the walls here. Yeah, so basically we're just trying to get these sheets to cover the whole inside of the panels. So we're going over these smaller ribs, and we're just trying to seal it off because it's our first layer of insulation. But yeah, so we're just going to continue doing this. We're running them behind the pillars and everything so we can really try and seal everything up. And then next stage we'll just be putting the wool in, and the van seal will run along the top here. Yeah, so stage 2 van liner is done. Before we go any further, I've just quickly run this wiring up through the middle here for the downlights and the Air Max fan. I've just put a couple of rubber grommets in the holes here through the for the beams, so we can just run the wiring straight down the middle. So I've got it all coming straight down this column here next to the door, and it's actually all going to pop out here into this one of the bench seats there. That's where all our batteries and 12-volt stuff's going to be housed. And yeah, so now it's time to get onto the Havelock Wool. So let's get into it. This shouldn't be too hard. Havelock Wool is done. That was by far the easiest and quickest layer we've done so far. It was literally just spray and stick. Yeah, now onto Van Seal, the final layer. Let's go.
I almost tripped over it.
So that's a wrap, eh? Car builders.
All done.
Yeah. So it's starting to look like a bit of a spaceship now, but we're going to be super warm, super quiet when we're driving. It's going to be comfy as.
Yeah, and it took us a little longer than we expected just because we had so much going on in our lives. But
yeah,
the next episode shouldn't take us as long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I think.
Yeah, we've got a bit more time on our hands now, so we're getting ready to get stuck in more than ever.
I think the next episode we'll be putting in our fan.
Yeah, we're going to cut a big hole in the roof, get out probably a bed frame, make a start in the bathroom. They're the next kind of few things we want to tick off. But yeah, for car builders, we pretty much all the products we got, we'll have it in the description. We'll put all the products we had and how much we used for a coaster and everything. But we basically only had one box of Havelock Wool and about one box of van liner left.
Yeah.
So
and everything was quite easy to put on and really self-explanatory.
So good to work with this stuff.
Yeah, and if you're going to do a coaster, buy a shitload of spray adhesive because we went through so much of it. But
more than anything, yeah.
But
yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed our video and learnt something, and if you guys are going to do the same with your van or bus, or hope this helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll leave you with that, eh?
Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.